So now we have a team battle. DS taking on Team SH. And first up for us is going to be NeoBuster taking on Devour. This is going to be a 7v7 normal format match. And yes, I said that correctly. 7 members of DS are taking on 7 members of SH. Double mulligan in effect. And clan diversity in effect. So we're going to see 7 different clans on both sides. No repeats. NeoBuster is starting off with his Narukami. Meanwhile, we have Devour, who is using something. NeoBuster starts off. Rides Arc grade 1. One less to put in rear guard, but he doesn't want that much. And Devour is using Pale Moon. This is gonna be strange. And somewhere Asuka cringes that Devour is using her clan. But starts off riding Irene and her skill goes off. Puts Marichika in the soul. And gets an early crit. NeoBuster gets a draw, which makes up for it. A heal would have made that even better, but not to be. Neo rides Koken. And is calling rear guards. If I was him, I actually would have put something behind the Chatra. Just to increase the chances of this actually, hitting, going off, and giving him a draw. Because it's not that difficult to guard. Then again, I guess he would have guarded with that either way. He got 2 damage. Evened it out, and the hands are about the same, so definitely works in his favor. Especially because with the amount of feel he has by comparison, he technically is at advantage. So now Emil goes off. Puts in a grade 3 and a grade 1. So I'm guessing the rest were other grade 1s or the grade 3s or triggers. And Emil, of course, shuffles the deck. And Barking Sky Tiger, that's strange. Keep in mind, its ability doesn't work unless the opponent unless the person using it is in Legion. NeoBuster does a gutsy 1 pass, and it does pay off. And now Devour decides to go for Arc. Not NeoBuster, Devour decides to go for Arc. And NeoBuster blocks it. Has 2 triggers and a drop, which will be good for when he decides to Legion. And now he's going to ride and bring out his Dragonic Kaiser Crimson. Call Shotgun Blow to the rear. He's going full aggressive. Attacks with Chatra first, which causes an intercept. Considering he doesn't use stand triggers in this deck, from what I know, I'm almost surprised that he didn't want to save Chatra for after his twin drive so he could give any triggers to it. But that is a risk in itself, because if he didn't get triggers and Devour did, then that wouldn't be able to hit at all. Especially because it can't attack rears. So now Devour's at 4 damage. rides Venus and is activating Limit Break. He does have a soul to make this worthwhile. That's not the issue. Soul charges an Upright Lion. That was very lucky on his part. Upright Lion gains 3,000 for every Silver Thorn. For every Silver Thorn taken out of the soul. And since his soul is nothing but Silver Thorns, it means that he's got a lot of things coming out. So, Upright Lion gains 9k. Decides to use Irene to potentially add to his soul, but doesn't get anything to put in there. More than likely just got 2 triggers on the bottom of the deck. Zelma puts something into the soul, gets something out. Decides to get another Emil. Which means that those were 2 triggers that just went to the bottom of the deck. Because now Emil is going to shuffle them back. So from the top 5, only 1 goes in. Just the Rising Dragon. Which makes the Vanguard column as well as Marichka's column that much more dangerous. Considering that now all of a sudden he has the ability to counterblast 1 and bring out a 12k attacker. But Marichka is unboosted. Marichka cannot hit unless a trigger appears. So if I was NeoBuster, I'd guard this. He does not. And a heal trigger appears. Probably giving that to the Marichka. Gets to heal 1 of the flipped. Second check is a critical. Puts NeoBuster at Limit Break. But it also provides NeoBuster with the big problem. And a skill for Counterblast 1. He's going to bring something out. More than likely going to bring out the Irina. And then use its ability. Checking top 2. Putting 1 in the soul and 1 at the bottom of the deck. So now NeoBuster needs to drop the... Oh, he put 2... I'm guessing it was 2 triggers again. So, NeoBuster is going to need the Perfect Guard if he wants to block this Marichka attack, because if he doesn't do that, then he's going to have to face even more battles. And if he does drop the Perfect Guard, he didn't. He should have dropped the Perfect Guard from Marichka, but he chose not to. And by not doing that, Devour is allowed to call another unit out. Which actually hurts NeoBuster really badly, because now that unit's going back into the soul. And it's 1 less unit for the NeoBuster to hit with his skills. 12k is going at the rear. And now he has no choice but to Perfect Guard this. I would have liked better if he had Perfect Guarded the Marichka attack and then taken the Upright Lion. Because now this entire column is going to go back into the soul where NeoBuster can't get to it. Neo is playing with fire at this point. Devour realizes that these 2 units are supposed to go back into the soul. He puts back Perfect Guard, the 2 crits, and Chatra that was retired. I think Devour has completely forgotten absolutely forgotten, actually, that his 2 rear guards are supposed to go back into the soul. Because that's what Marichka and Anna do. Well, NeoBuster is getting a benefit from him not remembering that. And Neo heal triggers. No triggers for Devour, which means if he wants to guard either of these two attacks, he's gonna have to seriously guard for it, especially because Arc is going to gain a lot of power right now. Of course, also if Devour is given the second unflip damage, he's gonna get the ability to limit break again, and that's a heal trigger. So it doesn't even put Devour to 5, and he has limit break again. So even though Devour pretty much lost all of his field just now, he's gonna get it all back. And that's a cracking Beast Tamer that just went into the soul. Actually, I just realized he can't get back as much as I thought. I still think he's doing it really strangely. He could have put Anna behind Marichka, but I think he wants the ability to call something from the soul from all three sides. But again, Marichka has the problem where it's gonna have to hit. And it can't hit unless he boosts. Okay, he decides to actually give up the hand in order to give it a boost. The biggest positive I can say for NeoBuster at this point NeoBuster asking to shuffle for a meal. I'm actually looking. No, he didn't shuffle just now. Okay, so he just checked, and no, he didn't shuffle. So NeoBuster was right to check that. Good eye, NeoBuster. Devour is asking should he redo the arena because the top two cards are going to be different. And NeoBuster says, yeah, do the recheck. The recheck gives him an upright line into the soul. But it was absolutely what was supposed to happen in that situation to restore game state. So all things considered, I think the best thing that NeoBuster can do is take the Vanguard and guard the rears. Like, no matter what his hand is, unless he can guard all three attacks, the best thing he can do is guard the Vanguard. Guard the Vanguard and take the rears. Perfect guard and draw trigger. Not a critical, but the draw trigger is going to help Devour a lot. that actually soft lock, well, actually, the Annas and Marichika's actually on a threat regardless, just because he doesn't have the necessary counterblast to use them. Probably something I should have noticed before. I'm gonna assume that, okay. All things considered, I don't know what I would have been able to say or do if he hadn't had enough to guard that. Now, NeoBuster, let's look at that for a minute. Okay, if he had done a Re-Legion, the best he could have done is put the heal back, put the draw back, but nothing else out of that would have been important to go back. So, definitely better that he didn't do that as opposed to doing it. So that's 21, 31, that's 1 to pass. And that's 2. Devour leaving it up to chance because he does have a perfect guard in hand. This could be NeoBuster's chance. And it's not because he doesn't get a trigger. He doesn't get any triggers at all, actually. Unfortunately, that could be the game for NeoBuster unless he gets a 6 heal. Arc does power up. And another heal trigger, but this one doesn't heal. It just means that Devour loses the ability to 6 heal later. And now Devour is activating Stride. Discarding 3 grade 1s to make it happen. I guess he feels like this will end the match. He brings out Mystic Lucriere. And with her ability, you can put 2 rear guards into the soul to soul charge 2. And then bring out 2 Silver Thorn units from your soul to the rear guard. Of course, this doesn't change the number of battles he's going to get for this turn, unless he's prepared to give up the rest of his hand. What he might be attempting to do if I was Devour, I probably would have used Zelma to put in Anna so I could get out something that Irene over there could boost. But given the situation, or he could just call his entire hand and fill the field. That works too. Whatever floats your boat at this point. NeoBuster unfortunately can't guard. To be honest, he's better off guarding this and then taking the Vanguard, because he's not going to be able to guard the Vanguard even if he heal triggers. Unless that's a Quintet Wall in his hand, NeoBuster can't guard. He does run Quintet Walls, but he can't guard. Irene, perfect guard, and critical trigger. NeoBuster does have 3 heals in deck, but to get 2 in a row right now, not likely, but it could happen. And that's an arc. Too bad for NeoBuster, but a really good game. A really close fight, actually. That's game 1 of the team battle, so we'll move on to the next one.